Hayi noma ningathini kodwa ziyacula izayoni bakithi thina-ke sakhuleka kuzona kuvuka usinga-ke mese icula kumane kuvuke usinga. Hallo, sanibonani, ninjani bathandwa benhliziyo yami, ninjani na? Kuhamba kanjani lapho? I hope everyone is doing well. Okay. This is about what we discussed earlier, and let us get into what we are here about. We were talking about this comment by our favorite and favorite person who tells us amaqiniso as Africans, uthi uTracy Zell. I think she's cousins with Helen Zell, probably. Uthi, how do you expect to get out of poverty and to develop your community if you still love church more than education and business? Poor African communities have many churches in one village, but they don't have even a single factory that is producing something and creating jobs. In China, there are more factories than churches. Chinese spend the whole night working and producing jobs for their children, while Africans spend the whole night praying and fasting for marriage. I wish I could say the statement was not true, but I remember trying to register a church of my own. They said they had run out of names. Like they have run out of church names in Africa. That's how many churches we have. This is why we're ending up with churches with these names, because now you have to be very creative. Helicopter of Christ Ministry. Run for Your Life International Chapel. These are real churches. I did not make this up. These are real churches in Africa, and we have really run out of church names. Try and register a church as a business and see if you will get the 5 names you will be thinking of putting for consideration. You have to be creative, guys. Occupy Till I Come Deliverance Ministry. But we are creative, shame. Jesus Elections Ministry. Jesus Elections Ministry. The Devil's Hunter Ministry. And it is true, we do have a lot of churches in Africa. Let us be specific. In South Africa, we definitely do have a lot of churches. Everyone who can't get a job in their own country comes to South Africa to look for a job or to start a church. And people have made a lot of money through starting different ministries. We have churches from your traditional, traditional in the form of the churches that we grew up on, the ones that came with the British ministries. And then we also have the churches that are all over the place now. Even in Mafletin, you go to an apartment, that apartment is a church where people are being made to eat snakes. We've got churches where we even have a church pastor who promises to give people a 6-pack. He prays for you to get a 6-pack. It's called Pastor Jim. If you go to his church, you do not have to go to the gym. His prayer will give you a 6-pack. Like we have everything. And it is true, we no longer have factories. It is true, we don't even produce toothpicks, guys. What kind of a country does not even produce toothpicks. Oh my God, my friend is calling me. I'm gonna have to call her back. So as we don't even produce toothpicks. What kind of a people are we? So let's talk about it. Is there something wrong with us, or is it okay that we have more churches than we have businesses? And what can we do? What can we do? Please, you know the link. Get on the link and join me. The African churches, but always use the English Bible, especially the King James, which is difficult to read. They even speak in English because the people who introduced the religion to us were our colonizers, and they introduced it in English. And when we moved to the cities, we were coming from different places, different provinces, different languages were spoken. So, yeah. And these days, a lot of our pastors are not necessarily pastors from our own tribes who speak the language we speak. And as you see now, Helicopter International Church. So if you are international, you have to know that in Helicopter International Church, there will be other people who do not speak your language. Ati Umpo, I don't blame churches. It's our black people who want instant blessings and money. So let the pastors rob them more. The problem is us. Yeah, we do shame. We do want instant blessings. Hello, Sfiso. How are you, Unjani? Sfiso, sawubona?
Unjani mama?
Ngiyaphila unjani?
Kufana nayizolo.
Hayi kuhle-ke ngoba hayi kuhle mengingafani nayizolo.
Yeyi sixakekile mathenji la. Kubi.
I-report laka-first year.
Hayi nalo lingcono. Inkinga yethu as ama-Afrika sashiya okwethu sathatha okwabezizwe. Kuyasixaka. On top of that, an African is never religious. An African is spiritual. So angeke-ke mathenje ukuthi iy'nkinga zakwami kuSifiso ngizozisolva ngendlela yakwaThenjiwe. Ezakwami ngizozisolva ngendlela yakwami. EzakwaThenjiwe uzozisolva ngendlela and norms and ways zakwaThenjiwe. So angeke-ke sithathe into yale kude sithi izosisebenzela. It will never. Until we go back kokwethu, then sizobona ukuthi siyaphi. Okwamanje nje awu. Kumnyama.
Why is he investor more kuma church buildings and churches rather than kuma business? Even ama-business siyaziwa ukuthi black people don't support other black people when it comes to business, but when it comes to church, hayi siyasupportana siyagcwala.
Inkinga Thenjiwe, everything esiyithola sesibishe kuyona asiyibuki ukuthi isukaphi, izibe njena nje isukaphi. Remember ukuthi umuntu omnyama kwakudala kwawukuthi uma lapha kaMkhize kunenkinga in terms of inhlalonhle noma isimo sokuphila, omakhelwane bakhona kwakusiswa iy'nkomo kulowo muzi, kuthiwa mina Mkhize sengeliy'ngane. Ikhulu ilokhuzana umhlambi kaMkhize, noMkhize usodlulisela isephambili. Kwafika umlungu wathini, siyamona uMkhize. But bona bayasaphothana. So everything esiyithola sisenkingeni yazo, ama-roots ayo they date far way back ngoba okwethu umlungu wakubona ukuthi sibambisene siyinto eyi-one. So once wasihlukanisa wasusa iy'mpande zethu, yingakho sinje. Asikwazi manje ukusaphothana sisodwa. Ngingadlula esitolo sikaNgubane ngiyothenga esitolo sikaMohammed, but uNgubane una-same thing noMohammed ngoba i-mentality yethu isiyaba lento eyiyona. So inkinga futhi enkulu ukuthi while umlungu was busy esifaka amaketanga ezandleni, at the same time wayefaka amaketanga that are more stronger engqondweni yethu. So uthe mase waqaqa lawa asezandleni nasey'nyaweni, he knew very well ukuthi lawa asengqondweni they are more stronger than lawa esengiwakhiphile. Anginendaba nala engiwakhiphayo, enginendaba nawo la esengiwashiya engqondweni, which is very hard ukuthi sithi breakthrough kuwona. So ingakho sikulezi ezinkinga esikuzona, they date far way back iy'nkinga esikuzona. Manje sesifuna ukuzixazulula ngokuthi izinto esiy'tshela ukuthi y'qale izolo zikude. That's why enye into umlungu angafuni ukuyenza eyokuthi allow i-African history to be taught ey'koleni, ngoba immediately ifundiswa
But we can't
ey'koleni.
be blaming abelungu right now because we've had a democratic government, a black government for 27 years.
Eyenzani Thenjiwe?
Well, what are they supposed to be doing? Why are we not holding them accountable? Why are we not asking them to teach our children the right things?
Angithi Thenjiwe, iy'nkinga zethu sithathe bese sizibuka sibe naro kakhulu, kanti we have to be broad ey'nkingeni zethu. 1994 didn't bring anything kumuntu omnyama uma sesibuka ngempela ngoba you can't Thenjiwe ukuthi uzongena to some form of punishment fighting for ukuthi for argument's sake ufuna ukubhala ngepeni lika-ink. Uma usuphumele kulowo punishment they gave ipeni lomsizi ubuze ukuthi it's okay, kanti ubungeneleni i-punishment?
Yeah.
So you can't go in enye.
I've got people waiting backstage. Thank you so much. That's been so insightful.
Shush.
That has been so insightful. Ngiyayithanda indaba yokuthi uMkhize asimnike inkomo naye ayoziqalela abantwana, asimnike uMkhize bakithi. Ningabeke seninika uMkhize inkomo e-wrong mantombazane. Hey, thank you so much, sis. Also David Williamson, in America we have given $16 billion, generational dollars, to church and have nothing to show for it. It is the same. Well, it is the same. We are spiritual, not religious, and that's why it fails. It is so true. The money we give, like in Africa, we have pastors, church leaders who have private jets. Yet their churches are in the poorest of communities. Yo, it's hard being us. No, Tando, long time.
Hi. Lovely to see you too, sister wife.
Hey, my sister wife, are we ready? Are we ready to go and take our positions?
Yeah, sizothandaza, sizofasta the whole week.
But I did warn you, Mamantombazana seNewcastle. Kunjani manje makunje?
Hey, and within sin. Hi, the church one, hey, it goes deep. Me personally, I don't think inkinga is sonto. I think inkinga it's understanding your sonto. Muntu uzofasta the whole week for a job. It's about understanding how things work. It's not about because the richest people are not Christians. It's Jews, Nama Muslims. They're not Christians. It's only a very few people, Abama Christians, who look to they're very rich. So I think that psychologically, we are programmed. It's like a weapon. We are gonna like later zakudala labaphatha khona nompopi and then bamcontrol bamenze so. So I also feel like church it becomes something like that because uhluphekile awunakudla kodwa mawuhola ukhipha leyo 10% uyopha umfundisi. The next day you asking your neighbors for money with, hey guys, I'm broke, I'll give you money. And psychologically it doesn't make sense because you don't have the capacity to give, but ufuna ukusola ubhizi upha unikela, and then the pastor akasebenzi. When ufukuza kanzima, every day you wake up at 5, ubhizi uhamba amabhasi, uzulala ebhasini, and then at the end of the month you take that 10% and you give it to someone else. That doesn't do anything, because now iBhayibheli you can read it yourself. I have a friend, I won't mention the pastor, but the one that resurrected people. She's even still at that church. And my friend is the type of person, Mabangati, you know what, the church needs you to sign over your bond or your title deed to the church. And then psychologically, but how do you do that? Where does it actually know? The pastor helped me, motivated, the way he prayed for me. Hey, and she does very well. Academically, emsebenzini, she's zealous, uzovuka ayosebenza, and then she would say ukuthi because bamthandazela esontweni. But I'm like, awuboni wena ukuthi it's because you really pushed and you really worked hard. Actually, if it wasn't for my pastor, the moment he laid his hands on me, ngabona ukuthi I can do it. And I'm like, you can watch motivational videos on YouTube and get encouragement. So lenti esonto, I think it's an obsession. It's like a sick obsession. You wanna be abused, and you keep on going to the boyfriend that beats you. Mom damper, you go to the next one. The same thing with church goers. Also chincha isonto guy 5, guy 10, guy 20. The same church. But
Stockholm syndrome.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we keep on going to. So I think it's a weapon that was introduced by the West, and that weapon controls you. It keeps you in check. Because mawubuka abantu bakudala, especially those African churches, they used to have, there's a scripture that they misquote ukuthi black people are cursed. Oh, that's why they dark. But abantu labo, they still go back. Lapho esontweni. Yes, we all interpret the Bible differently based on different religions. But how many at work? There's a lot of, the whole company is owned by Jews, but they make money. But guess what? Mawumfonela is Saturday, they're not going to pick up the phone. But they make money. They make a lot of money. Angeke aze afike emsebenzini akutshele kuthi yo thina hayi njengoba kuma-Easter for 4 days, we are going somewhere, we're going to the mountain, so I won't be available. Uyasebenza, they go to work, they know what needs to be done, they don't impose their religion on everyone. Good to know, now you must address me as rabbi, you cannot address me like this. Uthi mawumnikeza into akutshele I receive, I thank you. Babiza abo pastor babo ngabo baba, abo papa, or whatever the names they call.
Not even the pastor in the African church, pastorhood is even usually inherited. Person marries
Exactly.
pastor,
And
they
that
wake
is
up, they are pastor messes, but you never hear of a doctor messes. You never hear of a teacher messes. Any other profession
exactly.
you get married to, you don't inherit the title. But when it comes to the church, you marry a pastor, pastor messes. What can we do? Because yes, we can't even lie and pretend we don't do these things. We do. There are more churches than there are schools. Like, think of your area where you live. How many high schools and how many churches? Sometimes
there's one up the road. It's on to everywhere. There's churches everywhere. I think what we should do, we should understand. I think the problem, because now I'm a spiritual person, but I understand there's a balance. Religion and what I believe plays a big part of who I am as a person, but it should not affect how I make decisions, especially about money. And whatever. And some people even getting bayafundi theology. I'm not saying it's wrong. Passion. How many? It's like confusion. You need a balance. Look at the richest people that are also religious, and look at how they deal professionally emsebenzini, and how do they behave. Those are two different things that needs two different split personalities. Angeke ube umfundisi at work.
It's a very interesting point. Why is it that we have a book that is translated to every language, but no science or maths book translated into any African language?
No
economics. There's no book of economics that is translated into our languages. No accounting, no science, no maths.
Because they want to feed you a propaganda of wena you born, but you must love your neighbor. During apartheid, the white people loved the blacks like their neighbor. Only a few did something to help you apartheid, but they're using the very same thing to oppress you. I'm not saying which the Bible
Do
is
you think
wrong. I
we
mean,
go
I'm
to
a
the same
Christian
heaven?
myself. Yes, but it's the same thing. But you are equal. God loves us all. But in apartheid, black people were living in scrums. Even still today, they're still living in scrums. When they live in complete luxury. But the very
But,
same book, when they
but
detect terms.
do you think we go to the same heaven, or there are suburbs in heaven as well, where the suburban
Yeah,
people
fine.
go to?
Yes, whether you go to heaven or ufa completely or you don't go to heaven, okusalayo, the funeral is the same. If a sikshisi siyangcwaba, but you tend to ashes at the end of the day and usuku ungasekho. So iyafana. It's not like because when uthandaze kakhulu and ukubona labantu abathanda abasonto banikeza ama-tithe abanamali, they always borrowing, but uye esontweni every day. Doesn't that tell you something ukuthi hayi phela lento lena ngathi ayisasebenzi, kunini ufasta uze uyonda but you are still broke. When you understand that I'm a Muslim here because we needed the whole month there Ramadan, and most of them, when it comes to business, they're very successful because why? It's discipline. It's not about tenders. It's about discipline and understanding how things work economically. Pen.
I mean, I remember in my church, I went to 2 different churches growing up because my family was split. On my father's side, Babesonda Lutel. On my mother's side, Babesonda Ezayon. So I would go to either or. And I noticed, Tuguti, the Zion church, they don't make money. The other church, we even had a collection for Imoto Yamfundis, Umnikelo Wonyanyav. We had like month end, people will bring rosary, plus also bakhipha imali for umfundisi, and people will be bringing testic, and you'll be like, but lo mama, I know she doesn't buy testic kwakhe. They will be
But
buying brand new for umfundisi.
Like, hey, mina le 10th angiyikhoni and ngiyayala. Mina, I had a similar experience. My mom's family, they Jehovah's Witness. And then my dad's family, base Sabatha. So Jehovah's Witness don't have a tithe, but the Sabatha ngiyazi ukuthi kuba na those envelopes akumele ukhiphe. Ngavele ngayibona lapho yazi. I had like yabona as a light bulb moment with 10%. And people, even my dad's family, kusukela manje nje ubaba omncane wami akabhedeli kiyo i-10% uyayikhipha, whether he likes it or not, whether akunagesi, whatever. And I'm thinking ukuthi this is mental slavery. It's like mabakutshela ukuthi kuno pinky pinky etoilet ungayi, but other kids are telling you ukuthi akuna pinky pinky, but when they're still awuyi lapha. I don't understand it. And I think it goes beyond apartheid or because really I think naturally as African people we have that spiritual thing, yokuba very spiritual, because even if you go back, people that lived before us generally they were spiritual people, but I think there was a balance. Le ngibona manje okuthenga imoto to where the pastor doesn't have a car, but when ugibela itaxi njengoba kuyi-winter manje usaba inkunzi hey, but when you have the money to buy the pastor a car. And then Maubabuza, like my friend had to know, the pastor took a vow of poverty. And Lama Thames Lawa, yo ngesilungu, bawasho kahle to know he took a vow of poverty. Ngithi ubani omcelile. So udla amandla and
poverty, then he must remain impoverished.
Yes. I don't mind. I don't mind small contributions because you need to pay electricity at the church building, you need to do things. But umnikelo has to be something ephuma, not something that is forced. And I also don't mind Mautu pastor, you know what? Yeah.
As Africans, what do you think we can do to take the same energy that we put towards church, to take the same unity that we have when it comes to church, to take the same commitment, financial commitment, the 10% that we give to churches, and make sure that we are using it towards building businesses, towards starting factories, towards building our own schools? What can we do?
I think this is a very wild one, but I think baba ngathatha bonke abo pastor bababeke in a conference workshop and they relate the message to their congregants, because wena as uThenjiwe ufika ubatshele bazothi noSathane bazokufuna ukubeka izandla bakuthandazele. So I think nje the pastors also have to realize this and not be selfish, but unfortunately it's like asking the ANC not to be corrupt. Batshele their congregants because they'll never. That's a very valid point. But you should be sitting down. Lama 10% could do a lot in your community, but no, aya esontweni aya kuma private jet. So a very wild one. Mabangathatha wonke pastor babe unanimous nabo babe honest bafike esontweni, but you know what? You're not allowed to pay 10% anymore. Give what you have. The remainder we're saying the Bible says it and fix your community. Or something like that. I think that's
the
what
pastors are not going to say that because you're taking money out of their pockets.
so
I'm going to let
another
you
same
go, my friend. I've got other people waiting. But thank you so much. It's been so insightful. Thank you so much. Tammy, hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Dalang nyalalele senusami nijani sanbanani dumelang abusheni. Good evening, bonjour. Yo, I am back. I am back on social media, and yeah.
It's good to have you back. It's good to have you
Yeah,
back.
sengiyajola ngithi. Sengiyajola.
Well done, you. Lockdown and
sengiyajola mntasi.
People are engaged. Hey.
Siyajola.
In this COVID times, I'm calling Pegitele on you.
Oh, angeke wazi. What if I'm the actually? Hey, yilento le ngiphuzayo la. Yilento le. Lento le. Ngisho baba ka World Cup bengangifuni. Bengithola omunye ke. Baba kangazi ke abantu bani ke lo. I think I was listening to the lady. The lady is actually speaking like something that is very powerful, you know. Something that is very powerful and you know, us, we should understand one thing about church offering and all those things. Remember, those things actually, when we contribute money to church, we are not supposed actually to contribute to the pastor. We are contributing to the services rendered, to the building, yes, to the rent, yes, to the chair that I am sitting in, so that I can be able to hear the powerful message, or I can be guided about what is going on, because I believe he has gifts I understand it better than me. So Tina, we are now processed, or we are so brainwashed to a point you know, I attend a white church. I attend a white church, and my pastor is a white person. So again, I would say, you know what, guys, we need to be transparent with the money. We like imali yesonto yaziwa ukuthi iyaphi. When I started esontweni lami, it was like a big wall, but now it has changed. Like, he's driving a small car. There are people like multi-millionaire inside the church, but angeke umuzwe bamthengele imoto or something like that. And then we are here to guide you. We are not here to take money. Everyone have lives, and I have noticed that. You know, I used to walk. I used to take a taxi, and I would also always wonder, after church, why me ngiya walker? And then other members, they have cars, and they can pass me even if the sun is so hot. They can just pass you with their cars while they have a seat for you. So you get to understand that, you know what, people are there for themselves. That is the reality. That is the reality. People go to church for themselves. Inside the church, they can hug you as much as they like. They can actually pretend to love you. They can say, yeah, 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 blah, blah, blah. But the honest truth is, people are there for themselves, for their own guidelines, for spiritual well-being, to actually hear ilona ukuthi what ukuthi baphile kanjani, ukuthi you know what, I need to live like this. Even outside, they don't feel guilty. That is good. That is good. It's honestly good ukuthi uThenjiwe agibele imoto yakhe abone umunye umntwana ahamba anethwa imvula ngaphandle amdlule. You don't have to feel bad, because you know what, you are fixing yourself. Because if you believe ukuthi, you know what, mina abaphansi bakithi bangivumela ukuthi ngihambe ngenyawo, I have to walk. What if I'm gonna pick up a ticket of lotto and I am a multi-millionaire in a blink of an eye? So we need to, our black pastors have possessed us to a point ukuthi, you know what, kunomnikelo kamfundisi, you know, mina ngiyabaleka, ngithanda ukuvakasha emasontweni amanye. Once ngaqala nje ngabona ukuthi uyabona la bayaqela-ke la bayayifuna imali. Kunamanye amasonto yazi makunikelwa kuze ukuthi baze bathi abobaba basukuma abobaba, abobhuda basukuma, sukumani insizwa, ngeke ngidlule ilona. So I think ukuthi especially mothers, especially ladies are the ones that are filled at church. You know what? Because they need a breakthrough. They are easy to convince. It's easy to convince uThenjiwe ukuthi, you know what, Thenjiwe, in order for your life ukuthi ibe sona, so I can sense, you know, intombazana noma ungahlalanga nayo, even if you have similar problems. Ladies have similar problems.
You are saying ladies, but in South Africa alone, we also have a Khabula church. It's full of male members. Khabula church, those of you don't understand Khabula, it's a drinking church. To come to church, you must bring alcohol. They drink and yeah.
Yo, I don't know. Oh, like it happened.
It's a church in South Africa. Google it. Khabula church.
Khabula church. I've never heard it.
You've never heard of Khabula church?
No. I told you what, I was off on social media. Man, I only got back. But let me get back to this. You know, ukuthi ladies have similar problems. You know, ukuthi umama, it's easy ukuthi ahetheke emphefumulweni, unlike a father or a male figure. A male figure uyakhona ukuthi alimale emoyeni kodwa angakhombisi. Abe nalento yokuthi yazini, I am a male. I'm not going to show this. I'm not going to allow this to happen. They can rather go to church today, tomorrow you see them in a tavern, to drink and forget their problems.
Just like you are drinking. I saw someone say Pelumupi drink.
Akabuye azophuza nkosi yami, indoda yami ayikho, akabuye nje nkosi yami bandla. Baba ka COVID akekho. Usebenza night shift. Mele ngekhabula mhlawumbe nami. So I think, yeah, maybe you can add others. Let me not take time because I'm still back.
Thank you so much. What would be your advice to us as South Africans, as Africans, as Black people around the world? Because whichever country you go to, it's mostly Black people who go to church. I was surprised when I moved to England to find that people don't go to church. Very few people, and it's usually the elderly. There are very, very few churches. Some churches are on sale. They've been sold to be private buildings. Some people are buying them and converting them into flats or houses. But church is big in Africa. And when even in America, I saw a lot of our churches. And I think because now we sing and we do, I think it evokes the spirituality. That's why maybe also we love to go to church. But what can you say to us? How can we now convert and redirect this energy instead of only being able to come together when we're doing churchy stuff, but come together, build schools, come together, gotta put the 10%, build our own shopping malls, build our own factories, create jobs for each other. What advice can you give us?
You know, we need to start team building sessions esontweni. You know, such things ofana nokuthi simotivatane ukuthi asidlale nama-stokvel, guys. Let us play, even if we can play with the gospel. Let's say sidlala ngegospel sithi uma ungathatha imali yestokvel ungabhadali omunye umuntu, lo muntu kumele ayokhokha phela. We have to actually start something like that. You know what, as Black people, we need to uplift one another at church. Because now we are born a man. If you go to church, if you unikela nge-envelope engaka bakuhlalisa phambili, kodwa ma uzonikela ngemali nje abakunaki nokukunaka. Ngeke bathi sanibonana ngiqala ukubingelela usisithenjiwe ngibingelela umamfundisi bavele bathi ngibingelela ibandla bakufaka under the congregation. But once you start being recognized, so we need to create that mindset ukuthi, you know, a church must be turned into an environment where people are uplifted, not just spiritually, but also physically, with money, with resources, with everything that we can help one another with. But the problem, another thing with us, is Tina sithanda ukwamukela. A lot of us, majority of our Black peoples, once ungamjwayeza, okay, I'm not being racist, but yeah, but a lot of us is once ungamjwayeza ukumupha into wamupha free, they get to be so comfortable ukuthi, you know what, uThenjiwe uzongipha man. Let me go back to Thenjiwe. Thenjiwe ngicela ungiphe isinkwa. We need to change such mindset in churches ukuthi, you know what, ukhona la usisithenjiwe la esontweni lethu. Uma ungaya kusisithenjiwe and you say, sisithenjiwe, let's start a business together as Black people together. Let us start an investment scheme. Let's start an investment scheme because sizothola i-interest fee enkulu uma le mali ibuya. Let us start such things that will actually build us inside the church, especially those who go to church, because most of the people that goes to church are people that need money. It's that is the honest truth. If you're gonna stand in front of the congregation and you say, you're gonna see everyone is gonna stand up. None of them is gonna sit down. So people are so obsessed, that, like Nonsigalelo said. So people are so obsessed with church. You know what? I think
that was very insightful. Thank you so much. Nati, so good to have you back. How are you?
Kunjani nkosazana?
Ngiyaphila.
Ngiyaphila nami. Sengibambe kakhulu. Manje ngisemsebenzini ngiyantshontsha ngo5 minutes kuphela.
So
Uyazi mina khona into engifuna ukuyibuza engixakayo kulabo pastor benu yabo. Labafana kufanele nibona abasebenza.
basebenza nina nje.
Basebenza thina. Yazi mina kukhona into engayi-understand yabo. Uyabona nifike niwafake lama envelopes enu. Nibabize ngobhabhani, nibabize ngobani bani. Yabo mina uBolt. Labo pastor benu ebusuku izinto abazenzayo ngalezi imali zenu nina enizikhokhayo emini. Ibuhlungu lento yenu ake nivuke. Yabona mina kukhona omunye upastor owangaphandle ngala etown la ngihlala khona. Intombazana usisi osonta esontweni lakhe wamthengele ijeep sis, brand new jeep. Kodwa mothi uyekhaya lalo sisi lo bafetha ke nivukeni.
I have a friend who was a midwife here in England. She's from South Africa, Kwamashu. She worked here for about 10 years, and nurses make a lot of money overseas. She had saved over $1 million. And then she had a vision. God told her to give the money to Umfundis.
Come on guys, bafethe ake nivuke, bafethe eMzansi ake nivuke. Labafana labo papa benu ake bahambe bayosebenza nabo. ake bahambe bayosebenza nani bantu bakwethu. Ake nitholeni amasonto ngampela angani-brainwash because la masontweni ani-brainwashile izinto enizenzayo, izinto ezenzekayo la ngaphandle. Oh God.
But when it comes to building itself, forget the new ones that came with Amatende and Nan. Emma Lokshini, oh sorry, we lost him. Guys, Emma Lokshini, we have more church buildings than we have schools. We have more church buildings than we have places of business. We need schools. Children have to wake up at 4 a.m. in order to be able to make it to school on time because schools are far. But everyone has a church within 5-minute walk. Everywhere you go, like you have choices of churches. You have choices of everything. And like that comment earlier that was saying, how come other books are not translated? Is it not time that we ask for science and maths? It's Afrikaans people are learning in their language. Afrikaans schools are teaching maths in Afrikaans, are teaching everything in Afrikaans. What can we do? Do we really church too much or yeah? Sukumoyo Mackenzie.
Hey, Mganam. You're right.
Ngifake imask nangumuntu akhwehlela.
Oh, hey, work. Abapapa beni baliyezela bethu emlonyeni yenu akubabo sibenza babe namba ngani bebeshaya ikhokho bese beswaziphansi bazangichaya abantu.
Why do you think we have let me read this thing that inspired this conversation again so that we don't end up diverting. I want us to stick to this point because it really did hurt me when I read this. It's something we all know it happens. It's how do you expect to get out of poverty and to develop your community if you still love church more than education and business? Poor African communities have many churches in one village, but they don't have even a single factory that is producing something and creating jobs. In China, there are more factories than churches. Chinese spend the whole night working and producing jobs. There are jobs for their children, while Africans spend the whole night praying and fasting for miracles. Why do we do that, and what can we do? Do you think that is right?
No, it's not right. But Thenjiwe, what you have to realize with these churches are probably a mushroom from nowhere. I'm sorry to say, they know how to brainwash people, and they are not real. That's how you realize when they, but you know, say so everything is about them. Basically, I'm a hustler. You know, like if somebody is selling you something about marketers, they can make you feel. So our people, they've gone through a lot and they want a place of solace. They want a place where they can believe in. But what they don't realize is within those churches, they are divert them away from reading their Bible, but so umuntu lwana ukuthi abele time yokuthi abale the Bible like leli alihambayo ukuthi Papa said, they don't listen. That's why you realize they target most women. And from what others have said, maybe witness those people use some different kinds of things that they use. Things like about using our dead human, whatever thing is. But one way or the other, there is something behind it. Yeah. If they are following their Bible, the Bible says the church was to help the widows, help our orphans, but our widows, they are now the ones as a Mali woman scheme. They are now the ones as a the last cent because labana bantu sebengene bahle bangena ba change abantu's mind.
How did we get here, and what can we do? Should we convert these church buildings into schools?
Sorry, I'm just switching off this other device. You know ukuthi kumele kwenziwe Thenjiwe. First of all, bona labo ababuya bezenza upapa kumele kube lama-credentials. And secondly, take back those buildings, convert them kuma-workshops, convert them to things ezizasebenza real. Hayi upapa ozakutshela ukuthi mina I've been told, God told me esithi mfe. Because people are already brainwashed. Abapapa laba, they are hustlers and bayathenga bangamaqini. Yabo. They pay people, they pay our elders, they pay abephezulu wenu labantu. Because
And
they are
then,
hustling.
Sugu, what can we do? You have a device. You have a lot of devices. Because I know for sure that if there's already a KFC, I cannot open another KFC nearby. If there's already a McDonald's, I cannot. Even if I want to open a different burger joint, I have to go through a lot of processes to make sure I get permission to open another one. But you can have 4 churches in one street.
Because it's business, Thenjiwe. Awathathe ama-church lawana. Do you know ukuthi ama-churches angibona they even charge abantu babefuna ukusebenzela, maybe they are doing izinto ama-conferences or whether it's a working thing. Take those churches. Even iphandle, people can pray phandle, preach phandle bahamba. Because if they are misusing those churches, and ngapha they are brainwashing abantu, brainwashing ama-families. Omunye, instead of taking their children to hospital, bamele lo papa, they've got all the evidence showing how these papas have destroyed marriages, destroyed lives. But why is the government scared? It should start there. The government, what do those ministers have a hold on them?
But the problem is, it's easy for people to assume that the government is scared. What if this is exactly what they want? What if this is exactly how they planned it to be?
The
So that
government,
we forget thinking about how we don't have jobs and we start blaming the devil and not blaming them for not creating jobs. We start going to pray and thinking if I type amen, or thinking that's because I didn't pay 10% last week, that's why I don't have a big house, that's why I don't have running water, that's why I have load shedding. What if that's exactly what the government wants?
no, I think this thing is bigger than the government. I mean, I'm not one person who just believes, but I know what these people by calling the Thenjiwe. They use some kind of jujus, whatever they do. Recently, they take abantu who are dead and use them on people. They brainwash people, they do things. Yes, the government to an extent is to blame. But these hustlers are suing government, but from countries. I'm sorry to say South Africa is a fatal ground for armor fake pastors.
And that, you know what other problem I have when it comes to this? Let me put the link for other people who may want to join us. We will be closing after an hour. The other problem I have is when it comes to businesses, we fail to unite as Africans. But when it comes to church, how did they get us? Why can't we take the same love and energy we have when it comes to worship and put it towards business, towards creating our own school? Like, we don't have private schools, we don't have good schools. A lot of children in Black areas have to go to areas where other races live, especially in a country that's formed from segregation like in South Africa, in order to get a decent education. I'm not even talking about private schools, I'm still talking about public schools, but the divide is just so much. Why don't we take those churches and turn them into schools and turn them into factories where women can gather every Thursday instead of coming and saying, Papa, come and do some artwork, do something, like share their talent, share their skills. Why don't we use it as an after-school club for children to come and get educated by, say, for example, the graduates in the area who haven't found work. They come and they help our scholars of that area And the 10% that we give to church as parents, why don't we give to those people that are helping us as a community?
I want to tell you what you are saying is an ideal. It's real ideal, but that's not what's happening. We are warning Abantwana, even when they are brought into gang culture, they believe in it. Abanye bazifaka amanamba, unombolo, I die for you, I die for you. Abafundisi labana, they are worse. So they brainwash people. I tell you, angeke ngikutshele ngithi the prophecy ngithi, your mother is a woman. But yes, Papa, your father is a man. Yes, Abba Celestine. I already know my mother is a woman. I know my father is a man.
What if you didn't know? Some of us do not know.
Your brother is a boy. I see your brother. Your brother is a boy. Okay? Yeah.
Yes,
Then,
Papa.
yes, Papa. Njengama nursery rhymes. Mina Thenjiwe, my 10%, I give them to our Boko. I give them to the children who have no food. I give it to that neighbor ongenakudla. Anginiki muntu i-10% ethiyani kugodi. Akangiphi account kagodi. Abasebenzi, they don't have jobs. They don't work, but they are rich. Why can you not ask yourself that? But that's the thing. Thina esibona from that end, bona asebephakathi, they can never be able to. They can never. Bayenza amafutha, ufica umuntu ufaka ipikitsha kapapa, but ekababa khayikho. Ufaka ipikitsha kapapa enkalakatha lapha.
Guys, we are the only continent that has run out of names for churches. You struggle to register a church. You really, really do struggle. There's even a church called Shoelaces of God.
But my question is, Thenjiwe, those who allow who register a church, babefuna what credential? Yeah?
David
What
is saying Jesus never existed. You might as well scream for Superman to save you.
No, mina ngifuna ungena lapho because ngizachaya, because mina ngiyami ingqondani uJesus angithenjiwe. Find out when I've got your brother. Jesus is a brother. The one that I know is the creator. And Jesus is there in the Bible. And Kulumi moving a Bible now was not there, but to me, mina ngokwami. And so they ngithi mina ngashaya umuntu lami ngimnike lokudla. No, they were saying to you, if I take off your land, don't take it back, nika more. Those people wrote the Bible, they created. Oh, that's why when you think check out Jesus is black, is white. So again in that child. But angisolo ukuthi but uJesu mayikhona but nguJesu ucreator angiboni ucreator wengasenza space igqili be slave ucreator wethu wasidala labo khokho bethu sonke ukuthi sibe right basinika iland basinika where to plant where to do things but linopapa bali brainwash oplapa babenza ngani bona ngoba death is Jesus. So at the end of the day, I'm very sorry guys. Because lizathathela izimali abanye khonapho bangangitshaya sengathola ama-message mina Thenjiwe I've been bullied ku-inbox yami ngomunye because nganthe papa unamanga ngathi this is Netflix drama, but they are brainwashed mnganami. And our leaders ngakusho ukuthi if abantu kungathiwa sign petition ukuthi ama-church lawa nevalue uzababona abaningi they are saying no, don't close them because they are already brainwashed.
Even during COVID. Even now, like we did a stream on pastors saying that they should get the vaccine first because they are frontline workers. Like, guys, they go around giving people, but but
if those churches in Mexico, why COVID?
They go around giving people all these things, telling them that they're making them better, but this pandemic came, I haven't seen any one of them in any ward going to.
These people are destroying lives. I'll give you an example. There was a lady of mental health. Papa watili demon don't take mama tablet. Who's hanging recently? Suicide because bengasathathi. Ama izinto ziwengqondweni yakhe nxa ekhuluma bethi you have no faith, they are destroying people. But you even lapha you can have you seen ukuthi they've said what la abantu abalali ezwa kuthiwa thina siyaku cross over siyakubani. Mina lami ngomlomo wami omkhulu I've been in trouble because I say it as it is. Stop it. But guys, I'm not against church. I'm not about anything. We can start from building, but it starts from you yourself. Why do you believe in a human being wearing a suit? I would tell you what to do, what to eat, where to do. Ukuthi engakhuluma ulutho yonke ukuthi ize liqedisele amabala akhe. Abanye they even talk like them. But tshintsha ama-haircut befanele.
So what can we do? What can we do, Suk? Because we need to make sure that what happened to us doesn't happen to our children.
That wena i-government angiyazi ngikhuluma lawe wena ungabi nxa usithi ubala iBhayibheli, stop being lazy. Read the Bible for yourself. And if you're saying you believe in God the Father, then the Father can speak to you when I'm telling. Your Father will not help you. Next door. Pray on your own because that church is a building. Ganumuntu is a hustlepreneur. Don't believe on men. Who's your father? There's Father in heaven. That's why you are sinning. And then you say God is not watching. I'm just advising you. Don't worship men. He's men. He's got his family. Don't be brainwashed. Be your own person.
Yeah.
Don't buy water. Don't buy those anointed oil. They are buying them. Anyway, and they will tell you it's anointed. Anoint them with your own mouth because even your Bible says God gave you mouth to speak your tongue. Anoint that oil. Your Bible says freely you've been given and freely you will receive. So why do you pay to go and have one-on-one with your papa? To pay one-on-one to be with God. I know
as a parent, do you think it is our duty to teach our children the real history of how Christianity even came to the shores of Africa?
Before they are brainwashed, yes. Me now, there was a time, I never was a person with church. But because I was young. But I go to a time got tested because I'm a mother. Yes, I've been there. But I've told my children. I know it was late, but I've told them and I've showed them. I don't want to confuse them. You need to know the history. Our creator, who created us. But when Abraham, David, but my own great grandmother, who died. You don't speak to the dead. We are Mazu David, we are Mazu Abraham, Lord Jacob. How would your father feel? You guys, you need to know who you are and whose you are. There is a creator, yes. But go back to basics before you read that magazine that the colonizers wrote for you. Look at it. I'm a child of God, blessed by the blood. And don't be too much, but don't you dare. It's church, but it's a building.
We have become more religious than people who brought the religion into our continent.
Very. And the religious, so I know and I've learned. As a person, one thing the same time as expecting a change. You need to look back who's born. Where is this taking me? Because at the end of the day, we are church. But you are denying the self.
You have to look good for Jesus. There are churches you cannot repeat what you want, and you can only buy from the pastor's wife's boutique because you have Jesus.
Then the petty take I'm funding the pattern of my thousand when unyoko ngalulele ngela khona okokudla yona amanzi lona ipenti but when uthenga ufundisi umenzela ibhebhide uthi papa uyaguqa umfazi womuntu uguqa kupapa ngani ngazijuluke endlini wakho lwana uyenza uthi papa and then you say Hey, mina, Pastor Asha, shut up, Ashani.
What if your husband is not a man of God? Why should you treat him like the man of God?
Eh? What?
If your husband is not a man of God, if he's not pastor, if he's not
Men of evil. That Bible about anybody, never say yeah, no husband, 2 and 1, never say women respect your husband. Bamu choose here Tanzania. Upastor lomfazi wakhe. Destroy abafazi. Amadoda awasafuni church. Mama scam, yes, it's the biggest scam ever.
But they don't force anyone.
They brainwash them, Thenjiwe. That's why she said, brainwash you.
How come you are not brainwashed?
Hey, Thenjiwe, as for none. As for none. And for none. Nethi mina lami ngibele nhlanhle ukuba ngibekwazi ukuthi what is what is what. Labo bazafunda. That's why we are teaching each other. That's why we sit. I'm not saying stop reading your Bible, stop praying to God, but if you are reading it, read it to understand. Not ukuthi ufundisa ku-explain iBhayibheli lithi umnike i-£20 ukuthi uthi ungene kuma-scheme. No, it's lies and they are lying to you. And you are zidlalisela imali yakho and you choose because Thenjiwe ngabe yenzela abantwana they are following suit. So iyo illegal so ufuna uyifakela abantwana ukuthi kulo mfundisi kulo pastor segijima
we grew up there even cutlery and everything that you do. There's a seat in every house where it's reserved for the church pastor, for the church leaders. You cannot sit even if you are the man of the house.
Yes,
there's cutlery, there's crockery, there's a special seat that is just reserved.
Have you seen the result? When you're putting a seed, we are Daniela. Have you seen the result? We have not ufagi seed. Guys, stop ukubanjalo.
I'm so happy, Sis Thenji, you having this topic today. Mina ngiyoze ngife ngingakaze ngiqhashazwe abafundisi ngoba iqiniso ngiyalazi futhi kuyangijabulisa ukuthi nabantu abasondelene nami ngihlala ngibafundisa iqiniso ngenkolo yangempela. Okay, I can understand what everyone is saying about abafundisi. My question is, they don't regulate themselves. If people are feeling so strongly against it, what are we saying to those who make our laws? Why are they allowed to have so many churches in one place?
They're given money. How? Why? Kuma labantu abakulalele labana vele sebephiza imali ama-pocket of money. It's a hustling game, Thenjiwe. Give me, I give you. They don't care about you. That's why you have to care about yourself. That's it. Me now celebrate Thenjiwe. You drive with this one down. When you also bonus 10% in never. I'd rather give to that person on a dam of the start in Kenya. Look at it in Nanko. I'm negative to me. How can you love even that Bible? How can you love me without loving the people that you know? Me that you not them. Because I'm telling them they are not funding. So I was cousin. Special thing. So the Holy Spirit has told me, I want a 5,000 people give 5,000. So me. Can you give 5,000?
No, there was one where they were paying 5,000 and he was praying for their wedding finger to anoint them so that they can have a wedding ring.
Ring. Is that come because I'm a lot of the rings because I'm not wedding fingers. I'm gonna look at our locals. Those I told them where it don't sound long funding into the band. Because I don't tell a plan, but I would tell them in Hamburg. You will not have things. I love you guys. We are family, but sometimes you gotta be truthful and be honest. Stop worshiping men and stop being scammed in the Kanyele. Uyagula ufuna ukulanda holy oil laphana ubona ibisikhona ideliver udeliverwani uchaya ihlanzi into engekhoyo. Bekutshela ukuthi gogo, they will know mana nje they're not kulo gogo omdala. They will
No,
know they are scam.
uSimiso uthi ene hayibo asibapheni abafundisi bethu imali Nkosi yami. Awunami ngisho njalo nami sengicabanga ukuba umfundisi.
Mina ngithi mina lina labapha kuyelani.
This life would not be free. You guys would be giving me money here and there. Like you'll be paying money just to get in.
Mina wansenzele enye omunye umfundisi wathi kimi one request angekela abanye bathi indlela yami engikhuluma ngayo to lead me to an early grave. Thenjiwe ngayicopy ngayipaste lapha ngathi I'm still alive yangi-threaten.
When I was in Sunday school, guys, let me tell you a story. Usuku waxoshwe Sunday school. Not waxoshwa kabili. She was first bamxosha as a Sunday school, like a Sunday scholar, a child going to Sunday school. Waxoshwa because she was asking too many questions. She had too many questions. So she was kicked out of the church at Sunday school. And then when she was older, she became a Sunday school teacher. Still, she didn't last. She was kicked out of the church because she was teaching children things they were not supposed to know.
No! Babefuna ngihambisa abantu abanamanga bethi batshela ukuthi bekhulume in-tongues ngathi udotile wamfundisa abantwana. They just started into engikutshela zona.
Yeah.
No, but I'm like that guy. Angilaleli udoti. Awungeke uthi mina
Why the pastors don't go to the hospital and do miracles there?
vele abahambi.
Bayabavuza kodwa abantu okusalayo.
Mana
Okusalayo
let me give you an example. My children would attest to that. Ukhona omunye abambona ngani uyamangalisa uqhakathekile ngani weqala ichurch yakhe la eNgland la qase ku hotel. Omunye engangisebenzela wasuka sizakade sahamba. Umfundisi wamuphakamisa wathi sister can you stand? Ngasukuma wathi can I see you after church? Thenjiwe ngihambe mina ngathi kanti umdala ofunani? Thenjiwe ambuza athi you come from Bulawayo. Uthi thank you. Bulawayo women are beautiful. Mfundisi.
There's one trending right now in South Africa.
Nango umfundisi nango esengitshela ukuthi khona you are so beautiful. I like the way you wear ngangqoka ama-shirt nathi nathi. Ngangikwazi phela abofake nasembuzi. You know you've got a calling. You need to work together. Can I give you my number? Ngathi Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Ngathi angibuyeli. They lie. People batshontshela abafazi benu. Bazalirephela abantwana benu because uzamthemba kakhulu umfundisi kani ukuthi abantwana bemhambisela itiye. I'm sorry, ngivusa ingqondo. I'm not talking about things that I don't know. I've had children. Mina, I work with abuse and mental health. I've had children who've been abused. That's why I speak to. And I tell you, I don't say anything I love witness. Angiban zoned. But now when I train papa, when you bring in girls to papa, thunder fire you.
But Mina ngithi, what can we do? Because this thing is happening and it's been happening. It happened to our grandparents, it's happened to our parents, and now it's happening to us. And what people do not understand and do not know is that in South Africa in particular, it puts in the whole of Africa, but I'll be specific with South Africa. It used to be illegal to employ someone who doesn't go to church. You needed to have a Christian name in order to go to church. Nelson Mandela. Nelson is not a name he was given by his parents. It was given to him by missionaries because he would not have been allowed to attend school without having a Christian or colonial name.
But change abantu babale awakening Thenjiwe. Mina phela I was still second. I want indaba belokhu bebuye South Africa. Why am wonke ama-fake bonke from Nigeria, Ghana, why they push the South Africa?
The one thing I do not like is when people call them fake. I don't like that. I find it offensive when people.
Okay, but I know about them profilers.
No.
Yeah.
You can't call them fake because they have done miracles that we have seen with our own eyes. They have
Oh,
done.
that. Thenjiwe angikaze ngibone mina. Ngayibona lo phela anti wazi. Papa.
So how can you say someone who can raise someone from the dead is fake?
Hey, Thenjiwe wangibona ukuthi wadla njani ubudilwana. Wakukhanya ukuthi hawu ukuthi befile lwana.
Wavuka wadla masala.
Phela usisi banoyendayo sephambi kuhlala esayidini efuna phela la ukuthi ngathi indoda bani umfazi ulambile wayishaya yedwa ukuthi yabona ukuthi badlalela ifilimu ngiyamangala waye bengakangeni ku-Netflix.
Wavuka wadla masala.
Serious, not Thenjiwe.
But guys, there is something we need to do about this. I don't know when, but very soon. Let us not allow our children to go through the same confusion. We are the only continent where they bring us Jesus. Jesus comes to Africa. We are the only continent. We are the only continent where Jesus comes and we even offer him our army to look after him. Imagine. Imagine, guys.
Yazi Thenjiwe mina semphuma kulo muntu lapha kuma-comment othe Thenjiwe sikhuluma imfihlo. I know that too. Thenjiwe lapha seliyenza i-live le yaba wena precious mnyeni, you are not my friend, I'm blocking you.
Sugu, what are your social media handles?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Instagram nguSugu Moyo Mackenzie Sugeso. I-Twitter same Sugu Moyo Mackenzie. I-Facebook same Sugu Moyo Mackenzie.
Sugu Moyo Mackenzie.
Sugu Moyo.
So please do follow it. Please tell our Bahlali what you do, because there might be people who need your help.
Okay, Bahlali Njobuli Mbona Nyase. I support people going through abuse and mental health. Why did I choose Ufala and mental health? Because most people have gone through abuse, but mental health money. But it's because both topics I've trained mental health, but not only that, I've realized it's a life. And then abuse is because I've been to Africa. I relate. I've been there. I've gone through abuse. I think was I will share. So then I chose to have this foundation. Let's talk about it. When they look, you need to talk about the abuse without fear. You need to be able to talk to someone. So what people do, you talk to me. I listen to what it is. And then whether I need counseling, whether I need referral, I refer. Mental health as well, I speak to you. I raise awareness. I'm a speaker. I speak about mental health every time. I speak about abuse. I help children. It's like if you realize danger, you tell me, I look at the situation and make sure I place them where it's safe. So I don't do it Lana UK, I do it everywhere. Even South African, some people know me. So you can contact me with Facebook on a panel. Just leave me a message and we talk, including about domestic violence, everything else. And one thing about me, what I speak Lawe as an individual, I don't talk about it to your go to your grandfather, no.
You're not like me who comes here and tells people that you were kicked out of Sunday school.
Guys, I am blocking Thenjiwe. Next time, Thenjiwe is blocked. Because I'm particularly so good at Ocha, guys. Why in Ocha? Because in Antandu from follow free band Ocha Joe. Yeah, band. Also, one church man, I got you to understand Sunday school.
Yeah, but guys, my main concern is not about us. Our lives have already been ruined. It's very, very difficult for us to unlearn what we were taught, to see anything wrong with what we were taught. Sometimes it helps. That's why I always encourage South Africans to travel, because when you travel, it also teaches you a lot of things that we were taught that are wrong. And it also exposes you to how other people live. But I think for our children, let us not allow history to repeat itself, especially this bad history, because we cannot really continue having more churches then we have businesses. We cannot only gather and unite when we are at church, but fail to do business together, fail to build progressive things together.
I know.
Let us use the same energy. And especially in South Africa, like every and any nationality, we even have, like, in South Africa, we are I don't know if there are other countries, but definitely in Africa, we're the only country that has, like, the devil church. Like, it's legal. It's proper Satanist church. It's legal in South Africa. They were allowed to start it during COVID.
But to be honest, Thenjiwe, I know it's okay. We don't want, let's teach our children. But Thenjiwe, mina, and believer is what I would teach my children. Oh, the other thing what I wanted to tell you, I work with the youth, and I've realized with youth, iyalalela better than thina bantu abadala. Because youth can listen, and ngabanika a chance, my parents. Learn to speak to your children, not at them. Look, no, but speak to your children in a good way. That's why it's a bonus music. So, in the way you force abantwana ukuya kupapa, umntwana engayala selimchaya, no. And Thenjiwe uthe singenza abantwana bekhule njalo, but it starts from
Tina, it's so difficult. If any of you has ever tried to open a business, you understand how difficult it is to get things registered, to get things done. And it's so difficult to do just the simplest things. People get arrested for opening a spaza shop just to feed their families. But in South Africa, it's legal to open a Satanist church. It's legal, legit legal. It's something right. There's something wrong either with us or with our leaders, but there is something wrong.
But again, Mbuze Thenjiwe Gibo, upapa useke wakunika imali na. Ngiyabuza kina bakapapa. Useke walinika
Papas are even asking for biscuit. There's a pastor right now who's trending for asking a youth at church for clove. So
but umboro waqala ngayo ukufuna amabhiskiti lelokhuzeni lethiwa yindlela. Ivuvuzela umboro lavela lamvumeza umboro vele sibongo bangithina umboro thina sakwazi indebele eZimbabwe uthi imboro intintinini, so ngaba lo chichi lo mfundiso lebizo lentintinini. So because uyabavumeza and I know like, but my parents nanzelela nini please, maKristo angili judge, but nxa ulazi iBhayibheli lakho don't quote amavesi ukuthi like any church ngayiphumela ukuthi like my pastor, our pastor say, you are not worshiping men, worship God. I think iBhayibheli and this God is a jealous God. So when I'm ulokhu ulandelela upapa, but God is calling you to listen for a secret, but when you are not, because indlebe zakho zikupapa, you will lose out. Ungambuza si pay for one-on-one. It's scam. It's scam. Stop it. It's a scam.
Oh,
But
now
then-
Jacqueline is saying, honestly speaking, I was churching too much in South Africa. But ever since I came to the UK, I hardly church, but I am surviving.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Tulibonile live. Mina nchecha lapha kwami lapha engasebenzi khona. Do you mean all these books written and tell the world about the existence of Jesus are false? You have been born recently, but now you are trying to challenge the story that had been written by other people. But uThemba utsho kuDavid William Samson. uDavid William Samson
It's challenging the existence of the Bible. Can I add who you talk? Because I know sometimes in network here better. So I'll put him straight on. You talk, Sawubona. Hello.
Sanibona. Kunjani? Okay, it's ngihlala oDabeni ngoba inetwork yami ivele ingidisappoint. Yazi inkinga enkulu la angicabanga ukuthi ibandla, ichurch general. There is nothing wrong ngokuvula inkonzo, ne? But i-problem ukuthi uyivulela ukwenzani. So uma ufunda iBhayibheli, hlala phansi ubheke iBhayibheli. iBhayibheli li-against le idea yokuya enkonzweni undlule umuntu ohluphekile uqonde yoshima lenkonzweni kodwa undlule umuntu ozolala engadlile. Uze uJesu enze umfanekiso ngokuthi kwakukhona umpriest iLevite wazibala wathi bandlula bonke kwaze kwavela umSamaria olungileyo waba nomhawu. Then uNkulunkulu ke bese uya-argue ukuthi kahle kahle yini inkolo yini into enginibizele yona njengo-Israyeli ukuthi niphakamise igama lika-Israyeli noma enginibizele khona. So eBhayibhelini noma ufunda incwadi kaJeremiya chapter 21 uNkulunkulu u-argue 21 no 22 u-argue namakhosi akwa-Israyeli uthi kuwo nina anginibizelanga ukuthi niqede ukuhlupheka kubantu, anginibizelanga ukuthi nifide abafelokazi, anginibizelanga na ukuthi nondla abantwana abanganabo baba, kodwa manje senithatha yonke iminikelo iza kunina. So inkinga yebandla kahle kahle akukhona ukuthi sivula amabandla but ukuthi amabandla enzani mase evuliwe. So sithola ukuthi kufike kube ibandla ichurch likabongani, all that we do.
Yes, Sugu.
Inetwork isenzelani shwa.
Kanjani?
Uright anjamuzwa. Ukhuluma iqiniso lona leli ukuthi how can you hamba usiyani kumfundisi odla ama-oysters, odla lama-crabs, kodwa unganikanga abantu bakho. But as we are saying lana, thina as human beings, thina abantu lapha, read your Bible. Ungalandelele upapa. Upapa akalandaba lawe. And irrespect ayiqalise endlini wakho. Uthanda umkakho, uthanda umfazi wakho, umkakho, indoda yakho, uthande abantu abakho, ubanike that love and respect before you start a church ngayo. Because abaningi ama-church lawa athenjiswe ngama-business transactions. I-building lana sokuyi-church kuphela sokungama-business transactions. Ngiyakwazi abanye sebaba over-religious, bayazenzela abantu. And uyakwazi one thing about being religious, you always think another person is a sinner, yet you are not. Yet the same Bible says because we have all sinned. And we've all sinned. Sonke thina singabantu. Akula sin bigger than another person's sin. So wena upapa akasoze kuhambise ezulwini lakho futhi angikwazi sesekhona ezulu lapho yele angikwazi afunde ngento engazasisho. But engikutshoye ukuthi mina I'll say my words again. Start by knowing who you are first. When I was ungubani, ngingubani.
I like this.
You.
I like this comment by Darius. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Also, there is a correlation between countries with extreme religiosity and poverty. Countries in Africa that are extremely religious are more likely to be poor. Even areas. Have you ever seen a church in a gated estate? They are all in our townships. In suburban areas, you see a church here and there. But in our places, oh my word, even in town, before we moved into town, into the main cities, there weren't any churches, but now there are churches galore.
That's the thing.
Like shops have been sold to build churches, apartments.
Because
why?
Business and the
for the people, because for me, it's not just about the afterlife. What about the now? What about now? Why can't I live good now? Why do I have to wait until I die before I can be happy? I think it's never too late. It's up to us. Learn from the past and let's pave a way. I know it's very difficult as a woman in business. Things don't come easy. We have to climb mountains to reach a small goal where our counterparts don't need to do much. if we invest more in business, we can have more people coming back to the townships and rural communities giving. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's all we need to do. The efforts we put into church, the efforts the churches we have, convert them into things that are going to help us.
Uthenjiwe ngathi, can you tell
rural
communities?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you're listening to another device. Please do turn it off.
Uthenjiwe ngathi, can you subscribe? Pressa nje kuphela laphana la iphelezana.
Please turn off one device, it's me. So, and guys, please do subscribe to my channel. And please like the video. Please watch other videos. And just give me some love and subscribe to my other channels as well. Thenjiwe Comedy as well as Thenjiwe Unplugged. Smiso, hello.
Ngiyaphila ninjani?
Siyaphila unjani?
Hayi ngiyaphila nami.
Yebo.
Usesi usuki ulaka lakhe bakithi.
Hey.
Yo, ava nolaka uyazi. Uyazi mina sisithenjiwe kade ngithi mina abukho ubrongo uyazi ngenkolo noma mhlambe ngokwesonto. Abantu bakithi abathatha izinto ngehaba uyabona mhlambe ukuya esontweni akunabrongo. Ngoba vele phela ngithi iBhayibheli likhona lalokho ukuthi lisiguide and siyabadinga abantu asebanolwazi olungcono kunabanye. So uma silokhu njana sifika emasontweni vele kufanele ukuthi sinikele. Mina ngithi umnikelo vele awuphume kubafundisi. Abafundisi abanikele. Angithi idlala ikhulekelwe khona. Yes, so manje sisabani ukunikela abafundi. Angithi ibo abasinika indlela. Asinikeleni ke mangabe kuvuma isimo ukuthi asinikelele abafundi. Angazi ukuthi uyangizwa yini sisithenje.
Sorry, I muted myself and then I muted Usu. Yeah, beskuzwa thina siyakuzwa. Ngithi-ke mina it's fine everything you are saying, but how come we are the only race that has more churches than businesses, that has more churches than schools? There's a church every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but our children have to wake up at 4 a.m. in order to go to a decent school. What can we do to convert the same energy we have towards churches to other things? We don't even produce toothpicks in South Africa. We have nothing. There's no township that is on. Any township is known maybe for amakota, for his pathlo, for his but seriously, on a serious note, when it comes to producing, we do not produce anything. And Tina, we will stay all night. We will stay for 3 days. During COVID, the lockdown, we didn't have business people toying and going to parliament and pushing the government to open businesses. But we heard people saying open churches. Nobody was saying open schools. Nobody was saying open our businesses. We want to go back to work. We want to produce stuff. But they were saying open churches. And we over church. We church more than people who brought us the religion of churching. What can we do to convert that energy into other things?
You know what is Thenjiwe ukuthi when the Bible says einsukwini zokugcina abantu abaningi bayoyithanda ukudlula izinto eziningi. So into yenkolo sesithathe ngokuphapha thina abantu bakithi savumela abantu ukuthi bafike babe nolwazi ngento eziningi. Iqiniso lithi uNkulunkulu noma ngabe usendlini uyakwazi ukumdumisa ngithi. Kodwa kukhona la uyaye udinge khona ukuthi ngoba makuthiwa isikhuna sivuthi sisodwa kusuke kusho ukuthi kwala udinga khona inhlanganyelo namaKristu angithi. So masenihlanganyele namaKristu sewukuthi manje okufike kunga-understandeki nokufike kube buhlungu ukuthi most of the time everything manje isihamba ngemali yabo. You know ukuthi mina nje since angikaze ngilibone ikhandlela le 100 rand or le 50 rand mara masontweni siyawathenga nge 150 uthenge nje ikhandlela uthenga umetshisi we 50 rand uthenga ikhandlela ele 100 rand yabo iproblem seyilapho but ngokudumisa uNkulunkulu mina ngibona ukuthi silahlekile because izinto eziningi uma ubheka according our country uyabona ukuthi vele umkhuleko siyawudinga kakhulu izwe lethu selimoshakele ngezinto eziningi but iproblem ukuthi abaholi la asebakhona manje ngabaholi ababizelwe kulento noma bona bazibizele kulento you know ukuthi namhlanje ukuthi if njoba ngibona ukuthi mhlambe ngisebenza kanzima or ngiyastrugglisha elifini it's simple ukuthi ngivele ngihambe ngivula ibandla lami and then mase ngivula ibandla lami ngihambe ngiyothenga ama-aquil amanzi thenga aquil amanzi ngibuye ngiwafake isithombe sami ngaphandle and then I will
when I buying aquil I'm giving them water from the tap when I open my church futhi from the toilet uRuth uthi I know umzali owathola ipension yakhe wanikelwa 10% ka 700,000 rands kuBushiri abantwana bakhe abawu5 wangabapha ngisho isent wathi imali yakhe yokugcina le I was saying earlier ukuthi I have someone I know who was a nurse in England. She was a midwife, a sister, like she had a big position. She worked very hard. She saved a lot. When she went back to South Africa, God spoke to her and said she must, I won't say the pastor, but the name is spelled very, is exactly the same as the one who's here. And she gave him over 1 million of what she had saved. And she went back to stay at home because she had a house, but it was eventually repossessed because you know how you have a nice house, expensive house, you forget that you have to maintain it. And she had left here, so she wasn't making as much money. So that she lost the house, but she gave over 1 million, close to 2 million, because she had a lot of money that she, excuse me, she had saved. And so what would you advise your family member, your friend, or your partner if they came to you and said, I just retired from work and I'm taking 700,000 or a million to go and thank umfundisi?
Lokho wesesithenje kuwumsangano nje lokho nje asingalokhu nje kuwumsangano nje lokho masikhuluma nje iqiniso kuwumsangano nje lokho ngoba umfundisi ubani lo wathi umfundisi uyena okwazi ukuxhumanisa kangcono noNkulunkulu ngoba sifike sime phambi kwabo siguqe ngamadolo sithi bona abasixhumanise noNkulunkulu who knows lokuthi vele final uNkulunkulu uyezwa because abafundisi mina nje advice yami enginikeza abantu abasha ukuthi ukuya esontweni kubalekile you know ukuthi emhlabeni ayikho into enganayo advantage ne disadvantage yakhona iadvantage yokuya esontweni ukuthi kukhona izinto othi mawufuna ukuzenza yabo the more kuvuka lento la ngaphakathi lokuthi if ngingenza lento and then abazalwane bangibone bazothini we understand and the moment kwenzeka lento leyo ingalesikhathi kusebenza ugcobo kaNkulunkulu yabona la kufika khona kube i-disadvantages ingalesikhathi sekuzoba nale nkinga leyo ukuthi it's a must ukuthi unike you know ukuthi mina ngelinye ilanga ngake ngavakashela kwelinye isonto nimiswa according ama-birth of birth ukuthi nizalwa nini kuthi okay abo-January from March noma from April abamela April from mhlampe May abamela May to July or August abamela competition yomnikelo uyabona lapho sekunejoke kahle nje to be honest kuthiwe sekudlalwa lapho and lapho ilapho khona sekufuneka khona nje imali if bangabe abango-January
ningahlulwa wosuku befaka izibuko hayibo simo fakani imali
kufakwa imali uyabona ukuthi uthi mawuthi uyabheka mhlambe makuphuma isonto
unalabo they are close to God but what if God wabaphushela kudala so lina lapha nasebenzala nomntwana ophila fundisi is sponsoring the thief the fundisi is hularing yarepha abantwana the fundisi is taking over to make himself God wamphushela ngayo lina lihamba la he's drawing you to hell you are going to hell lo mfundisi read your Bible nangiyathulela khona njengamina ngeke
iBhayibheli lithi asihloleni imimoya ngithi. Uma lithi iBhayibheli kasihloli imimoya. Yes, hlolani imimoya yabantu enihamba nabo. So iproblem yethu thina abantu base South Africa ave siyithanda izinto. Sithanda izinto thina abantu base South Africa. Because you know ukuthi yabona, let me make an example ukuthi njengo sithenjiwe manje une page la. If uma engathi mhlambe ufuna abantu ukuthi mhlambe uyohosta something ndawana thizeni ukuthi abantu abeze ngeke size siye khona. But uma kungaqhamuka umuntu wangaphandle athi akuyoba endaweni ethize mhlambe Moses Mabhida uyoba khona siyogcwalisa Moses Mabhida. Uyabona iproblem yethu thina abantu base South Africa sithanda izinto. That's why sishayeke ngalendlela esishayeke ngakhona. Izwe lethu lingale simo nje sikusona, sithanda izinto kakhulu and asikhoni nokuhlukanisa ukudlala nokukhonza uNkulunkulu. uNkulunkulu ngeke sikubalekele ukuthi okukhona emhlabeni kwavela ngaye. And kunabafundisi abakhona ababizelwe kulento yokufundisa. Kunabafundisi abazele ukuzo-act. Same nasenyangeni ezima sikhuluma nangenyanga. Nasenyangeni kunomuntu obizelwe ekwelapheni isizwe. Kunomuntu ozozenzela imali from business. So if mangabe wena uwumuntu uphile emhlabeni ungeze ukwazi ukuhlukanisa ukuthi lento ayenzayo uyenza ngobright noma uyenza ngokuthi uzenzele imali, sizoba senkingeni.
I need to read this one out loud. I'm sorry. I took my mother's blanket and my mother found out and she wanted her blanket back here, Thailand. Imagine going to the church to collect your mother's blanket.
That's why they send you about that. Because do you know what even Google COVID the church value mdala lo alanda ukushira ikona ividi wayithe eyakhe ichurch abakhe noma ichurch ivalo kumele bebe offering like giving offering. My church even if it's closed is offering, and that's the thing. Abantu seba brainwasheka. Do you know ukuthi nxa umuntu edrugs lapha na change uyamkhiyela endlini ukuthi ebe lamawethu dina hlobo ungambona wakine sehlanya kakhulu chiya lo mnyango chiya lo windi engaphumi.
But they will think you have horns. They will think you have horns.
Yes, because basimazela abantu nithi
oh, ngicela ukuyifunda out loud le. This is interesting. Uthi nithi nizixakelwe inkinga zenu bese nisukela ibandla. Izikole namanyuvesi kwafika nebandla. Hamba uyokwenza ucwaningo kahle. Amasabhabhu engiwaziyo anamabandla amaningi kakhulu kunasemalokishini. Mhlawumbe uphambanisa ithaveni ne-church building. Akekho umuntu ophoqiwe ukuthi akhonze futhi ukukhonza akukuvimbi ukuthi uqale ibhizinisi. Go find the root cause of poverty and not this watch hunt oyenzayo la. I think you need to just go back to learning your history, learning who you are. I don't have time for you. I think you can get your attention somewhere else.
Thank you.
Get your attention somewhere else.
No.
Example sikhuluma ngakho brainwash. Usebantwela.
Yona ngikuvalelo.
Ukhetha akulele ukuthi selective reading, le selective hearing. Uyayibona into esikhuluma ngayo enithutha ngokwakhe. Brainwash.
But then again, I would be like him if you were talking about something that's gonna take money away from me.
Thank you. No, because we are talking about different things and focus on one thing. As if we are against church, we are against why things are happening. I can send you just continuing with.
No, uyazi wesithenjiwe asingalokhu njani. Abantu bakithi abalifuni iqiniso bafowethu. Abantu bakithi iqiniso abalifuni. The more ubatshena iqiniso, mina nje ngeke ngamangala mangathola ukuthi lo bhalele lokhunjana le mhlambe akanayo mhlambe noma indlu yokulala, imali yakhe njalo unikele esontweni upha abafundisi. Uyabo? So ngeke ngize ngithuke ngoba the more abantu bakithi ubanikeza iadvice yokuthi abaqale ukuhlakanipha bavula amehlo babuke ngenye indlela babona asikho against amabandla si against abafundisi abenza oku-wrong. You know manje ukuthi ama-social media umfundisi lo cela ibhiskiti no and angaze ngitrust umfundisi mina ukwedlula loya mfundisi loyana locela ibhiskiti so sikuphi-ke namhlanje.
And you know what, Smiso and everyone who's watching and listening,
Yes.
going to church doesn't make you a better person.
No.
Yes.
I might not go to church. I don't go to church. I used to. I don't anymore. It's my choice. But since I have not been going to church, I've done more things. I've built homes for people. I've done a lot of things that your Bafundisis don't do. But that's fine. That's their choice. But going to church doesn't make you a good person, doesn't even make you a Christian. It's like going to a garage doesn't make you a car. When I'm working at a garage, you're not going to turn into a car. So you don't need to go to church in order for you to be a better person, in order for you to be a good person. Yes, it's good to have places where you can gather with other people. It's therapeutic. The music, we are people of song. We like together. That's why our churches, they even failed to make them like their churches. We changed the songs because we are singabantu bengoma. See, now we want to dance. We want, like we feed off each other's energy. So when you have people of similar beliefs, you feel at home. That's why we are tribal. So there are benefits, but should we work for abefundisi? Should we have more church buildings, then we have schools, then we have, can't we take the same energy and put it towards other things? Towards other things. If you've been going to church since Sunday school and now you are 70, what is it that you are still learning? Even a PhD, what is it that you are still learning?
Yeah, but now, I did say before to people, if you are a Christian, read your Bible. As long as it's about to go in churches, we say people should be alert, baby alert, then on those up. But law as we marinate, the only look for oven that we create, which they were two chalapa watipa. But the idea is, as I'm friar, I'm marinated, right? But then as a way accused about it change where you say this. You've been helping people. We've seen it. Me now, when I was in Zimbabwe, a pastor asked me directly, asking me, you are saying you are doing these things you don't charge. You are moving from one place to the other. How do you do it? Where do you get the money? The same pastor, when you're doing donations, we have routine. Lamige and Tola. Food issues that out when we are doing food parcels for people who are affected by corona, but you agree. So I'm not lying if I'm saying about food. So when a defensive deputy Jesus, the examples I've seen. Who writes when a mouth is not about the church? So basically, take away. But starts with you when I'm just deliver and take it from there. You've been fried to fry over straight.
Mina nje wesesithenjiwe ngizalwa ekhaya la kunomfundisi khona ne sikhule ekhaya sonke sikhula ngelokhunjana ngenkolo but according ngokubuka kwami indlela aphila ngayo ekhaya nendlela apreacha ngayo esontweni I decided kuyeka lento esonto ngithi ayikho moslento yabo so omunye umuntu into especially ima engakaze yaba seduze naye wayibona kuba lula ukuthi ungavedana ukukhulume noma yini yabo kusiza ngani ukuthi ungabashiya ekhaya balambile uhambe uye esontweni uyoshumayela ivangeli uyonikela but ekhaya ushiye kulanjiwe and umndeni wakho ama relatives wakho anizwani nawo wonke but esontweni ushumayela abantu ukuthi abazwane nemndeni yabo what they mean yalokho
mina sesovala nje I was very fortunate my great grandmother was a pastor who Masontweni Zion churches, but she did sit us down and she told us why she started. Remember, Mazayon Waksondelwe Makaya, you'd have your service in your own home. And she told us it was basically because of the Witchcraft Suppression Act, which started in 1957 in South Africa. It's there in other countries as well, but the South African one started in 1957, that banned and prohibited and made it illegal for South Africans to practice anything that is indigenous. So they had to start churches. That's why they started Zion Church, because they had imimoya yamadlozi, but they couldn't practice it because it was illegal. That's why they started opening these churches where they could gather and at least still do some stuff. That's why even the songs, they changed them. Our songs, the rhythm is different from the songs that came with the religious people. If you go, say, to a church in Durban North, it's different. It can be a Lutheran church. It can be a John Wesley church. You see that difference. You feel the difference because they made it illegal to be us. That's why our people were forced. Our people couldn't go to school if you didn't have a Christian name. You couldn't get a job if you didn't have a Christian name. So it was forced upon us. So we don't need to carry that enforcement into our children. It's a shame that our politicians do not want to discuss such things. It's a shame that our politicians still continue these things. In fact, 27 years later, especially still having politicians who were freedom fighters, I would have expected them, the first thing to do is to remove these names that came with colonial powers. I would expect Jacob to be Gesletlekis, Nelson to be Holihlahla, Ramaphosa to be Igama Kumatamela. But it starts there. The fact that we are still holding on to what was suppression, to what was forced upon us, and we are taking it as normal. People will even ask you, Home Affairs, and then what is your child's English name? You've never seen, they came to our land. They never changed their names. We should be asking Van Veek, what's your child African name? Because you are in African soil. You'll never see Uthandi Van Veek. But why do we have Joseph Zulu?
I know.
This day and age, we should stop it. It should end with us. It shouldn't move on to our children. My son has an English name, and that's because his father is English. That's the only reason. When we got when we got our freedom back in South Africa, when we were legal to do things, my grandfather took all of us to Home Affairs to remove those English names. We removed them because they were forced upon them, and he made sure we don't become that generation that remains with the case. Ekhaya, you know, when umufuna ukudelela umuntu umbiza ngegama lakhe lesingisi, because we know that's an offense, and we laugh at you. When we are laughing at you, we call you by your English name. So what I'm saying is, let us not defend something that came to us to suppress us. Going to church doesn't make you a better person than someone who doesn't go to church. Being one religion, there are Jewish people who've done a lot more in townships than churches that we have in townships. There are even Muslims, people who come and feed people in townships more than the churches. So we can't keep defending. If you have a good heart, practice good things, be a good person. You don't need to go to church in order to become a good person, to become a better person. Let us learn our history. Let us teach our children our history so that our children are not lost like us. Let us not hold on to an imaginary friend. You forget your own father who brought you to this world. You call him a devil when he's dead. But an imaginary friend that lived in a land that you've never even set foot in, you will defend him with your life. Let me just add Usweleni. I'm sorry, I think I spoke too long. Sweleni, please unmute your mic. Sweleni, please unmute your mic.
I think Sweleni was a mega cool. You know,
Oh,
they're talking about names. Have you realized which one are they know the importance of? Have you realized at this end they don't want you to make a mistake when you're calling their name?
Mm.
To them, their names are important. I mean, I need but I tell them, oh, I need to go to Hele, oh, I need to Jugoshe, I need to Sugu. Because a name is important. So the reason they were changing names, rebrand, and now you are going to the church, the magazine ababalibhalele yona, uthatha konke. And now you think everything is around there. Do you know what these people abasebhawa baqolelana can be forgiven than abantu abasechurch? Abantu abasechurch they hate their brother. They judge people. They look down on people. And then bese kusithi obaba babo bopapa labana labo futhi babe bebatshela ukuthi umuntu lwana unje unje. So guys, mina ngokwami mina, I know umvelingani, I know the creator, and I know okhokho bami bonke, they are there. U-Abraham angimazi ukuthi ufana nalobani, angikaze mphuphe uJobe, angikaze ngithi umuntu ethi waze wafana lo mkhulu wakho Abi, uJobe uJobe wafana nawe Suku, yo, no,
oh, yeah,
angimazi. But umkhulu wami,
I don't even want to get into the Bible. People who want to believe in it, they can believe in it. Because if we can get into the Bible, this life will not finish this week.
yeah.
We will be here until next week. Because even the places we're singing to go to, missing feeling in Jerusalem, I wouldn't leave Jerusalem. Come Jerusalem. Israel. Come khuma nje isibhamu ngento ongayazi ngathi nisesaba amavolovola kwamasho uyasazi isibhamu saseJerusalem.
Jerusalem.
No, khona kunenkinga nje uyazi cause into lefiki ibe buhlungu kakhulu ukuthi mase sikwenzile konke lokho esikwenzile kulabafundisi ekugcineni kwakho konke ngoba akukho okufihlakela okungayi ukuvela ayavela lamahlazo ayenziwa yilabafundisi bese sithini emva kwalokho ngoba umfundisi siyamnikelela yes kuhle siyanikela phela angithi kunamavesi vele abavuna lokho ukuthi kuthiwe asinikele siyanikela but finally ibandla ligainani lona abantu ngoba la isontweni sinabantu abaphuwa abangana iqathulo abanye mhlambe bafuna ukuyofundela abasweli lutho ibandla libasiza ngani for labo bantu la.
Guys, let us focus about the same energy we have. If we can have it like Gembela Tina, we stay for 3 nights praying to get a job. Let us not pray to get a job. Let us work. Let us put the effort. Go and volunteer somewhere, get work experience. No unwanted oil is going to give you work experience. When Usimo has a business and Lieutenant is looking for a job, call Usimo and say, can I come and volunteer in your work, in your business, so that I can have something to put on my CV? Let us put, just like you go to church for free. Why can't you go and volunteer in Sugu's business for free so that you can get work experience?
In their Bible, Thenjiwe, hallelujah. Leasho ukuthi faith without works is dead. But when you work here, oil papa,
10%.
Because they don't want to work. How will you work? This is via Wi-Fi. You don't want to try volunteer like you said. That London.
The 10% that we put towards a church to buy a private jet for umfundisi wase helicopter church. Where is that helicopter church? We buy a private jet for umfundisi wase helicopter church. Imagine if you said, as former students of Qalanonke High School, we are going to contribute 10% of our salaries every month to make sure, as the alumni, we are taking children who come after us into university. If as a group of friends you said every month we're going to take our 10% of Isalar and we are going to build a home for a homeless person, or we are going to take an African child to a university, a bright child who can't afford to study medicine, thina somkhokhela ngo-10% bethu. A bright child okhuliswe ngugogo ophase kahle ngo-A ka-matric onganayo kodwa imali yokuthi ayofunda engineering, sizomkhokhela thina with our 10%. If we can say ngo-10% wami mina every month, I'll take 10%, I'll buy bags of rice and drop them off to my neighbors' arm that I grew up with, and I know there's no one who works. I know I'll take my 10% salary and I will buy school uniform for children who come from where I come from, who are impoverished, who don't have school uniform. You pass people walking barefoot in winter and you are taking 10%.
You know, even Thenjiwe, I'm a workshop.
It's a joke.
How to do carpentry. Teach abantwana ama-jobs ukuthi la uzakwanisa ukuthi ekwanisa uku-employa encedisa abantu. Those 10% buy ama-building materials. Where's umntwana ufuna ukufunda engineering kumbe utshone kumakani? Teach your children not to use the 10%. Umfundisi uyamthiya street kids noma uzebhima, but uyadrive. Udrive lokhu ze la ubhizi uthengela umfundisi la ungahamba lapho uzafaka ipetrol. Guys, it's not a joke. We joke and laugh, but it's true, guys. Think about it. Yekela ukufaka umfundisi for you and your family. Your family first. Ungazibona ngani ukuthi abantu zakho bona labo bakhona umfundisi kakho ngawuhlaba umkhosi ukuthi maye ama-neighbors zakho.
Now, the first thing in Africa that we know is that it takes a village to raise a child. And you guys are taking it wrong. You're taking children and making them more Ben 10. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean it takes a village in that way. It takes a village to raise a child. It means look after, you are your brother's keeper. Look after your next door neighbor's children. Nigumkhizi inkomo masenge.
Angithi vele before emandulo vele bekuphilwa leyo mpilo le. Uma ngabe umkhize mina ngineyinkomo kwami umkhize anganankomo, umkhize ubenikezwe inkomo eyodwa kuthiwe mkhize lusa nansi inkomo ukuze nawe izokwazi ukuthi ikuzalela abantwana bakho baphile usengubizi. Kushone phi lokho namhlanje ngoba labafundisi laba esidwale ngabo namhlanje imost yabo ama families wabo awekho la emabandleni la sikhonza khona. Kuba ilo mfundisi yedwa nalomfazi wakhe bazo act aboyi2. Mangothi ubheka ingane zabo azikho la esontweni, mawubheka ifamily emzalayo ayikho la esontweni. Why kumele kube kanje? Because if mangabe umfundisi umuntu right, we must lead by example. Kufuna ukuthi sibone ngefamily yakho ukuthi no ugood. Ifamily ikulandela ngalokuthi uvela isiyambona ukuthi okay uSimiso manje usephethe imali sesizomlandela nathi sizomposta njengomuntu right kodwa asizukuya kule nto yakhe la yenzayo thina. Inkinga ifike ibe lapho nje.
Umninawa is saying it's easier said than done. We need to get rid of the better than though mentality. Udakho nemali uyachoma for no reason. He has no heart to empower others.
Yeah, but ngena njani church?
Kuba njalo.
Because we don't empower
better than thou.
Yeah, we don't empower it.
That's exactly where the 10% is all about, giving back to God, not to Papa.
Wait, Papa has a private jet. Papa has a private jet. Do you know how to read? Smith, I want to read you my grandfather's favorite verse. Let's say Bible that he read for us over and over. So I'm gonna put it here. Tell usifundele lona out loud. Sesivalelisa ukuze sivalelise ngomthandazo ukuze abantu bangacabanga ukuthi asilazi iBhayibheli masikhuluma kanje. Thina we are just encouraging Africans ukuthi let us be wiser. Let us put our money endaweni eziright so that we can leave the next generation in better places, in a better position, in better situations. Nali iBhayibheli esilifundayo kwabase Roma 16 asifunde nje uverse 1 kuphela. Verse 1 to 2 konke lokho kuvelela nje asifunde kona kuphela.
Okay, uPaula isihloko esimnyama sithi uPaula ukhonza kubazalwane. Ngiyamncoma kini ofeba odadewethu oyisikhonzi sebandla lase Keneria. Anti sifuna uverse 1 kuphela.
Ngicela ukufundela mina. Ngiyamncoma kini uFebe, udade wethu oyisikhonzi sebandla laseKranekre,
Yes.
ukuze nimamukele enkosini njengokufanele abangcwele. Nimsize noma kuyiphi into engase ayidinge kini ngoba yena ube ngumsizi wabaningi. So ke ningaphinde ke ningabancomo oFebe, ningaphinde ningabasizi ngoba nabo bayasizana. Akusho mina kusho abaseRoma 16. Bazalwane bekumnandi sihlangene siyanithanda, but let us try and do better. It's embarrassing that we do not produce anything. We do not have factories. We do not unite when it comes to business. We do not even unite when it comes to education. But when it comes to church, we unite. People will recruit you to come and join their church, but they will never tell you how they got that school for their children. They will never tell you how they got umsebenzi. They will never tell you how they got scholarship. Let us share everything, not just about church. Let us not be asingabi lima, asingabodomoroza.
I love you guys. It's been love. It's always love with Kulumalani. I know Tanzania, we're advising each other. We are not saying Tanzania, but I'm saying use Lana instead of Lana.
Yes.
And please do follow Usugu. Do contact her. I know during lockdown especially, there is a lot of mental issues. There is a lot of loneliness. There are a lot of people ababreakayo ngaphakathi abahlukumezekile. Usugu has a charity. It's called Let's Talk About It. Sugu Moyo Mackenzie Foundation. It is Let Us Talk About It. So if you have anything you need to talk about, you need someone where you can kuluma confidentially, she's your girl. Please. I work with her a lot when it comes to these charities. Sometimes we do invite you guys when we have these very serious talks. And this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we will be doing a talk maybe next week. It's going to be very serious when we do them on Zoom because,
Papa and our hand is better than part 22. So guys, let's talk about these things. There is no shame, there is no judgmental. We talk about it, about depression, about anxiety, you are feeling low, as soon as the suicidal thoughts because of Kuluma, no judging. So let's talk about it. Nyalitanda, again, I love you guys. Love.
Thank you so much, Sugu. We love you too. And Smiso, your last words.
Ngiyabonga nje sithenjiwe Nkosi yami kakhulu. Sibonge nje umsebenzi wakho omuhle owenzayo, sizolokho sikusupporta ngawo konke okusemandleni kwethu. Elokugcina nje ukuthi abazalwana abamkhonza uNkulunkulu abangakhonza umuntu kuphela, siyabonga.
Yes, very, very important, very powerful. Thank you so much, guys. Siyantanda, sinifisela konke okuhle. Let us take care of our communities because nabasiphethe siyabona ukuthi hayi mesilinde bona silosalinda ngo-1912. And if we can collect imali sikwazi ukwenza amasondo, we can collect sikwazi ukuqala amabhizinisi, we can collect sikwazi ukwenza iy'kole zethu. And once again, ukuya esontweni, getting into the building doesn't make you a better person, doesn't make you a nicer person, it doesn't change your morals. Ungaba nje right, wrong unjalo. Ukuya egarage akwenzi imoto, ugodo mulifake emfuleni aliphenduka ufishi. So wena inhliziyo yakho eyakho ingaphakathi, do good to others without associating with upapa or ireligion. Siyanthanda abebefuna ukwazi ukuthi ivese la kuphi abaseRoma 16. AbaseRoma 16 maningi ke nje amalokhuzana eBhayibheli enginawo nangelilanga ngoniphathela elinye nje futhi elinye ivesi leBhayibheli. Ngiyalazi ke mina iBhayibheli ngalifunda from page 1 to page lokugcina. Thank you so much, guys. We love you. Good night.